Hi friends, it is not important how much money you make. What is more important to be wealthy is how much money you keep. We can make crores and crores of rupees every year, but if we don't invest properly, ultimately our money is not going to work for us and we will not really create true wealth. So today we will discuss about the most common mistakes that people make when they are starting their investment journey. So let's start. The most common mistake people commit when they start their investments is that they don't link their investments with financial goals. डेटा ये प्रूव करता है कि अगर हमने अपना एक फाइनेंशियल गोल अपने माइंड में रखा हुआ है एंड वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग टू अचीव दैट फाइनेंशियल गोल, प्रोबेबिलिटी इज़ वेरी हाई कि हम अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को कंटिन्यू करेंगे इवन ड्यूरिंग बैड टाइम्स. डेटा विज़ावी अगर आप इसको कंपेयर करेंगे with somebody who just started investments without having any financial goal in mind, then again probability is very high that when there will be turbulence in the market, that person will stop the investments and ultimately he will redeem when the markets are about to hit bottom. So it is very very important to have a financial goal in mind when you are making your investments, so that when turbulent times come, which is inevitable in financial markets, you will stay put and you will stay there to ensure that you are able to achieve your goals and you will continue your investment journey. The second investing mistake that I would like to talk about is not having proper asset allocation. It is very commonly said that you should not put all your eggs in the same basket. Well, the same is true for investments also. A conservative investor, he will tend to put everything in a AAA rated debt fund, or maybe everything is in fixed deposits. He will not put anything in equity. So again, this is not advisable. If you are conservative, you can maybe put majority of your money in bank fixed deposits, in debt funds, AAA rated debt funds. But you should definitely have some amount invested in equity also. You should have confidence on India, and India is a growth story. So definitely a conservative investor can have allocation of around 15 to 20% in equity also, because equity is one asset class which has traditionally generated alpha, which has outperformed every asset class, which is very easily liquidable also. So having some amount of exposure to equity for the long period of time, it is very much advisable. Because what happens अगर आप बहुत ज़्यादा कंजर्वेटिव हो और आप अपना सारा पैसा फिक्स डिपॉजिट्स में डाल देते हो या आप डेट फंड्स में डाल देते हो, तो टिपिकली ड्यूरिंग हाई इन्फ्लेशन टाइम्स, इन्फ्लेशन आपका जो इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है उसको हीट अवे करता रहता है. इन हैंड मनी, द ट्रू वेल्थ इज नॉट गेटिंग क्रिएटेड. So it is very very important that you should have proper asset allocation. A conservative investor can have heavier allocation towards bonds, towards debt funds, towards fixed deposits, but definitely some amount should be invested in equity and other asset classes like commodities also. Similarly, a very aggressive investor, it is not at all desirable to have each and every money invested in equity, because equity is a very volatile asset class. There will be times when markets will take a U-turn, they will come down. So at that point of time, you need liquidity so that you can take advantage of this downturn. If you look at the world's most famous investor, who is Warren Buffett, most of the time he's sitting on loads and loads of cash because he is always ready to lap upon good investing opportunities. Same way, even if you are very well aware of how equity markets work, you are aware of how to value companies, when to buy a particular stock, still there will always be uncertainties in equity market. So you should always have some amount of money which is in debt funds, which is in bonds, which can easily be redeemed, so that when markets take a U-turn and the market is presenting opportunities in front of you, you should have the ammunition to take advantage of that. Again, basis your risk profile, you should have proper asset allocation. Don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Being overly conservative is as undesirable as being overly aggressive. So it is always advisable to have a balanced risk profile, balanced asset allocation, I would say. And again, a very common mistake I would like to talk about is that people don't have patience. Equity investing is a long-term game. It is very common in equity market that even for 7s or 10s of years, a particular company may not give return. but in the next 1 year it may go up 4 times, 5 times. So this is the nature of equity investing. You should always be aware of the nature of a particular asset class where you're making your investments. Always have patience. Always look at the long-term goal when you're making your investments. Don't just expect that you have invested in equity, so tomorrow onwards it should start going up. It doesn't work that way. Equity is a long-term game. Equity is a long-term asset. So always have patience. In India, which is a high growth market, it has always rewarded investors who have stayed for the long term. There are mutual funds which have grown almost 100 times if they have invested for maybe 20-25 years. So this is the kind of wealth that long-term investing can create for investors. So always stay patient, and it is very important to ride different cycles. There will be economic uptrends, there will be economic downtrends. So you have to have proper asset allocation and ride through those cycles.
Again, a very common mistake that people make in their investing journey is that they try to get even with the market. Consider somebody who invested a few years back, made losses, but is coming back to make investments in the market with this attitude के इस बार तो मुझे बदला लेना. Then this is a very negative attitude. Again, you cannot expect good results because it is all about psychology. अगर आप mind में negativity रखोगे तो results में negativity आएंगे. So you have to come with a very humble feeling in heart, and you have to be very patient to be able to get good results. So never come with a negative attitude and negative feelings, because that is what is going to be a very common mistake that many equity investors make is that they tend to fall in love with a company. For example, there may be a company जिसने multi-bagger returns दिए हैं, but अब वो out of favor जा रही है, technologically वो अपने आप को keep up नहीं कर पाई. So it is always wise to let go of that stock before it goes to zero. For example, there was a company called Xerox which gave multi-bagger returns during the 80s and 90s, but after in early 2000s the company simply went out of favor. It could not keep up with the technological advancements. So it was wise of investors to maybe sell it when they were aware that the company management is not willing to innovate and it will not be able to keep up with the changing technological landscape. अगर आप एक इंडेक्स में इन्वेस्टेड हो, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टेड इन Nifty is a combination of top 50 stocks. Companies can come and go in Nifty, so it will always remain. So you can fall in love with Nifty if you have to really stay invested for the long term. But if you have to, it is not advisable to, fall in love with a company knowing where it is going out of favor. So that is one mistake you should always be aware of. Then we also tend to sometimes over diversify. Sometimes we take it too far. It is definitely advisable to not put all your eggs in the same basket. बट हमें ऐसे भी नहीं करना चाहिए कि जस्ट ऑन द फॉर द सेक ऑफ डाइवर्सिफिकेशन वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग. सिंपली इन्वेस्टिंग प्रॉपरली इन डेट एंड इक्विटी and diversifying among these two asset classes itself should be good enough for to create very good results. In equity we have ample asset classes like large cap, mid cap, small cap, international funds. Similarly, on the debt side also we have debt funds for different duration. Ample diversification in these two asset classes itself, and maybe some amount of gold can be added to the portfolio. That should be good enough. You need not go into each and every asset class. जो अभी नया फैड आया है, NFTs आए हैं, क्रिप्टोज आए हैं, इवन इफ यू आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ व्हाट एग्जैक्टली दीज एसेट क्लासेस डू, आप कोई नया फैड आया है, आपने बस जस्ट फॉर द नेम सेक ऑफ डाइवर्सिफिकेशन उसमें पैसा डालना एडवाइजेबल नहीं है. यू हैव टू बी अवेयर, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड एन एसेट क्लास before you really commit your hard-earned money to it. Many investors also rely on their emotions, their gut feel to make their investments. आज मुझे फील आ रहा है कि मार्केट ऊपर जाएगी, चलो आज पैसा डाल देते हैं. आज मुझे फील आ रहा है कि मार्केट गिरने वाली है, रिडीम कर लेते हैं. These kind of investment decisions always bring very bad results. So you should always look at proper asset allocation. You should think with a rational mind when it comes to your investments. Because if you go by mere hunches or emotions, ultimately the results will not be very satisfactory और आप अपनी investment journey को quit कर जाओगे बहुत जल्दी. So it is important to have a discipline, to have proper asset allocation and follow the discipline that was initially there in the mind when you were starting your investing journey.
For a one-to-one discussion with a highly experienced and knowledgeable finance professional at EAA Capital, who always keep your interests ahead of everything and work in a completely transparent manner, you can write to us at info@eaacapital.in, and one of our team members will get in touch with you.